Thank you for purchasing the Daily Activity Tracker. Now, the Daily Activity Tracker is the most effective and easy to use sales tracking system worldwide. This training will teach you exactly what you need to know to effectively use the Daily Activity Tracker system. I'm going to walk you step by step through the entire product so you'll be able to increase your personal activity and your results. If you're a leader of a team or you're the owner of a network marketing business, you're going to learn how to use the Daily Activity Tracker to increase the productivity and results of your entire team, which will ultimately increase your bottom line profits. This is going to be a simple and straightforward training. You're going to want to listen to this information over and over again until you've mastered the techniques. And when you do, just watch what's going to happen to your income. It's going to go through the roof. So let's go ahead and get started. Step 1. Turn to the front of your book. Look at the personal information section. Grab a pen and fill out this section completely. Start with your general information. This is the information about you just in case you misplace your book. Next, fill out the annual sales goal section. Set 5 annual sales goals that you have for the next year that you intend on generating by using the Daily Activity Tracker. This should be your 4-quarter sales goals and your total annual income goal. Last, set some personal goals. I recommend setting 5 personal goals for the year. These are things that you intend on doing with the money that you're going to earn this year. It could be things like maybe you're going to go on a vacation, or maybe you'll buy a new car, pay off some debts, or whatever you want them to be. I don't care what they are, just set some specific goals on what you're going to do with the money. By doing this step, it's going to help you stay focused throughout the year, and then you're going to realize how effective the Daily Activity Tracker really is. This next page is an instruction page on how to use the Daily Activity Tracker. Use it as a future reference. I'm going to be going through each section of the Daily Activity Tracker in this training. Step 2. Now we're going to get to the heart of the Daily Activity Tracker. This tracking system has been used by thousands of sales reps with remarkable results because it tracks the most important part of your sales, the activity which creates the sales. The first thing you want to do is set up your week. Start by putting the start date and the end date in the top right corner. It doesn't matter which day you start. If the day you start is a Thursday, that's your start date, and it will end that Sunday. The Daily Activity Tracker is what I call evergreen, which means it doesn't matter which week you start. It is your week 1, and it will go until 52 weeks are over. By using this system, you'll be able to see your activity and your results with accuracy for an entire year. Each week starts on Monday. This will keep the book consistent. Step 3. The next thing you want to do is put your weekly goals in the column marked Weekly Goals. You want to go down the list of activities and mark a goal for each week in this box. For example, you may want to get 20 leads this week. Put the number 20 in the box next to number of new leads. If your goal is to get 10 prospects this week, then in the box next to number of new prospects, put 10. Do the same thing for each activity all the way down the list. When you're done, you should have 12 different numbers, 1 in each box down the column named Weekly Goals. This is a very important step. If you're going to start using the tracker now, shut the recording off and do it now. Next, each new week, you want to start filling out your weekly goals at the beginning of each week. I recommend you do this on Sunday night so that in the morning you're prepared for business. Another thing I want to mention is that the goals that you have set are real goals that you really intend on hitting that week. These are not your wishes or your goals that you would like to hit or your vision goals. No, be real with yourself. Set goals that you believe that you can achieve and then go after them starting Monday morning. Here are some tips about setting your goals. Make them attainable for you based on your daily schedule. You may have other things that you have to do, so be realistic with yourself. Use a calendar to schedule your activity. Set a time to generate leads, to make phone calls, to do presentations, to go to meetings. I recommend you use Google Calendar or whatever calendaring system you have now. The next one, make them believable. You must believe that you can hit them. Belief is the key to taking action. Number 4, make them challenging enough so that you have to stretch to hit them. Don't make them so easy that Monday morning by 10 a.m., all your goals are hit for that entire week. No, don't do that. Stretch yourself a little. And then number 5, most importantly, make sure you do this step. This is the most important step because it sets the tone for your entire week. Step 4. Before you really get going, I want to ask you a question. Do you know the difference between a lead and a prospect? I've learned that most people in the industry really don't know the difference. I'm going to teach you the difference so you don't end up playing the busy game when it comes to lead generation. Now that you've filled out your weekly goals and have decided how many leads you intend on getting this week, you need to know exactly what a lead is versus a prospect. A lead is a person who you have their name, their number, or their email address. You have their contact information like a business card. Maybe you received this card at a networking event, or maybe at a chamber mixer. Maybe you picked it up off the ground, or maybe you got someone's name out of your phone book or your cell phone. It doesn't matter, but you have this person's name and contact information. That means you have a lead. They may not know anything about you or anything about your business, or maybe they don't even know you have their contact information. It doesn't matter. That's called a lead. Now, a prospect is altogether different. Understand this. Everything starts with converting leads into prospects. Your daily goal should be to always have a plan of obtaining new prospects and new people who have an interest in your products, services, or your business opportunity. So a prospect is a person or company that you have their name and contact information that you have spoken to, or maybe they inquired about what you do, your products or services, or your business. Maybe you met this person on the phone, or you bought a list somewhere, and maybe you sent them an email and some information and they responded. Or there's a whole host of other ways that you can get prospects. But they do know what you do and they're open to looking at it. This is a very important distinction to make. You should decide how many prospects you intend to get each week and put that number in the number of new prospects box. Step 5. Now look at the number of phone calls made box. Now you need to decide how many times you intend on dialing the phone with the intent to set an appointment. You should make these calls to people like your leads with the intent to convert them into prospects. You want to call prospects with the intent to invite them to something so you can show them your business presentation. You can call existing customers to ask for referrals. This section is not to track how many times you call your team to see what they're doing today, or to call your upline for training. It's only designed for calling prospects and customers or distributors. Now look at the telephone call tracker below. This is the grid at the bottom of the page. This section will help you determine how many times you're actually dialing the phone and how effective you are with your scripts. The call tracker has 3 functions. Now look at the grid. There are 3 symbols below. Dialed numbers equals /. This means that you made a dial. That's it. You dialed the phone. You may not have talked to anyone, or maybe you got an answer machine or it was disconnected, but you physically dialed the phone. So even if you dialed the same person 3 times that day, there should be 3 separate slashes just for that one person. This is a very important thing to understand. Every time you dial the phone to a lead or a prospect or a potential referral, it's considered a dial. You'll understand why this is so important to track later on in the training. Now the next one is appointment set equals 0. This means that you called someone and you made an appointment to present your products or your business opportunity to them. This doesn't mean that they said, call me back next week and we can make an appointment. It's a firm appointment with a date and time to meet. If there's no date, if there's no time, it's not an appointment. The no equals X means you spoke to someone, maybe a lead or a prospect, and they have no interest in your products right now or your business opportunity. This doesn't mean that they won't be open later. Maybe you just didn't say the right words that they needed to hear at this time. Either way, X means that they're not open right now. So by using this telephone call tracker, you and your team leader can look at this sheet and tell how effective you are on the phone. so you can get the training you need to improve. Later on in the training, I'll go into great detail on how to use it. Step 6. This is where the discipline will have to kick in. This is where the true business owners shine, in the follow-through. This is what you should do. At the end of each day, total up each of your weekly activities for all 12 boxes. No, not 10 or 6. Put a result in all 12, even if you did nothing in a certain box. Put a 0 in that box. The reason why is you are seeing in real time what you're doing during the day when it comes to the money-making activities. Don't just say, well, I didn't do any presentations today, so why should I fill it out? You should fill it out so over time you will see a complete picture and not a form that is half filled out. If you start to shortcut this form at the beginning, in 2 weeks you won't fill it out at all, and then you'll not start getting the benefits of using the form. Once you make it a habit of using it on a daily basis, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment when you can see your activities that equal results. We know that when activity is measured, activity increases. And when you track your activity, results increase. So will your bank account. Step 7. Now you have filled out each box on your daily activity tracker. At the end of each week, go back and review your week. Total up what you did across the boxes from Monday to Sunday and put a total in the total box. Now you want to answer the question at the end. Did I hit my goal on each box? Yes or no? Write the answer in the goals met, yes or no box. The great thing about the daily activity tracker is that it doesn't take excuses. It doesn't listen to explanations of why you didn't hit your goal that you set. It just checks the results. That's it. Now you can diagnose your week and your real activity level to see if you really worked or you were just plain work. This is why top producers love the daily activity tracker. They understand that if they don't hit all their goals every week, that's okay. But if they hit them most of the time, they'll make a lot of money, and so will you. We call the daily activity tracker the excuse eliminator. No more excuses like saying, oh, the economy is bad. I can't find any prospects. No more saying, I worked hard but nothing is working, or any of the other 100 excuses that people use for not achieving their goals. The daily activity tracker will show you that you are the reason for your success or lack of success. Once you know this, you can finally do something about it. It's an awesome program. Step 8. Once you've been using the daily activity tracker on a weekly basis, you'll eventually get to the end of a quarter. This is where you can diagnose your business with real statistics. Take a little time, like an hour or two, and reflect on your business under each activity for the entire quarter. Use the quarterly activity report so you can now see where your strengths and weaknesses are. You'll need to go back and count up the number each week. Yes, I know it's a little work, but this is a business. What do you think business owners do every single night? They check their inventory to see what they're selling or what's not selling. They check to see how much their advertising is generating them or costing them. In other words, they treat their business like a business. If you take the time and analyze your business and teach your team to do the same, you'll become a top producer and a top income earner in your company. Each quarter, you should sit down with your leaders and have a leaders meeting about the numbers. You can then see where you're having the most success and where you need the most help. And most importantly, you can see your team needs improvement also. Imagine if you started this throughout your entire team. How fast would your business grow? At the end of the year, you should do the same thing and review each quarterly total. At the end of each quarter and at the end of each year, we've added a quarterly evaluation sheet. So you can do a self-analysis on your business and on your performance. Remember this, it's your business. It's not a hobby. If you treat your business like a business, it'll pay you like a business and you'll get business checks. If you treat your business like a hobby, you'll get hobby checks. And the last I looked, most hobbies cost money. You don't usually earn money with hobbies. So by using the daily activity tracker, the quarterly activity tracker, and the annual activity tracker, you are in total control of what you do, what you learn, how well you advance, and how much you earn. Now you have a tool that can help you see it clearly. This system eliminates the guessing game out of the equation about how your business is working or not working. You'll know exactly why your business is working, because you're working. Now I'm going to show you how to use the daily activity tracker to increase and improve your business. Step 9. In this section, I'm going to show you how to use the daily activity tracker in your business. Now that you've been using the daily activity tracker for a while, you should now begin to notice which activities you're the weakest and which ones you're strong at. For an example, if you look at your prospecting goals and you wrote that you get 20 prospects this week and you only got 10, you can now ask yourself some good questions. Did I really work this week? Did I set my goals too high? Did I believe I could even reach those goals? Do I know where to go get prospects, or do I even have the skills to get them? These are some of the questions you can ask yourself so you can improve. Next, I want you to look at your goals you set in the number of phone calls made box. Now you can take a look at the telephone grid also at the bottom of the sheet. For an example, if you wrote that you're going to make 50 calls and you only dialed the phone 10 times, maybe you're playing the busy game all week, or maybe you're getting distracted by some non-money making activities. Or maybe you just didn't have enough time to make the calls because you didn't use your calendar effectively. This means that next week you know that you got to set better goals. If you dial the phone a lot of times because you see a lot of slashes in the boxes, but you see a lot of no's also, this means you may need more training on the telephone because your presentation is not being effective. Either way, the system is going to help you see what's really going on so you can run repair. Now, if you make all your calls and you didn't get a lot of no's or a lot of yeses, this might just mean that you're calling at the wrong time of day. Maybe your leads are at work or something because nobody's answering the phone. Can you see by using the telephone call grid that you can actually see in real time what's going on in your business? This gives you a lightning fast snapshot of how well you're doing or not doing so you can quickly get help and stop wondering what's going on in your business. You can get help immediately. Step 10. Now this part is how you can track your personal invitations. I want you to look at the number of invitation box on your tracker. The number of invitations is different for every business. And the type of invitations are different also. I'll explain what an invitation is so you can see how they fit for your business. You can be inviting people for multiple different things. One, you can invite them to a business presentation at a hotel or an office. You can be inviting people to a meeting either in person or on the phone. You can be inviting people to participate in a presentation at their home or their office or at a hotel. You could be inviting people to get on a webinar or a conference call. You can invite people to a social gathering or an event. You can invite them to a one-on-one meeting at a coffee shop, or even to a major event or function that your company might be holding. This section is going to show you and give you the ability to see how many people you're inviting each week to your business presentations. The more people you invite, the more people you can present to. The more people you present to, the more opportunities you have to make a sale or sign somebody up. There's 3 ways to invite. You can invite by phone, you can invite in person, or you can invite by email. This could be, text or Skype or any other electronic way that you invite people also. You should then track each way so you can see which one's the most effective for you. I always recommend learning the skill to invite in person. I get a much higher show rate when I meet the lead in person, I convert them into a prospect, and I invite them all at the same time. This step is where a lot of people drop the ball. They get a lot of leads, and they may turn some of them into prospects, but they never invite them to anything. Here's why. This is when they'll get the no. Most distributors don't make any money because they don't know how to deal with no. They take it personal, and this is where the buck stops. They stop inviting people, and it sounds like this. I went today and I went to some networking events and I talked to a lot of people today about the business or the product. And then if you ask them, well, how many of them did you invite to the meeting this Thursday? And the answer is none. Well, what happened is they actually got bit by the inviting no bug. By using the daily activity tracker, you'll be able to diagnose and see quickly in yourself and in your team. So you can take the correct mental medication and you can get healed. So you can learn to invite and get people to say yes, like the pros. Step 11. Now you can look at the results of some of your actions. So let's look at the appointments made box. You can see how effective you are at making appointments. If you invited a lot of people and a lot of them said, yes, that's great, I'll come. But if not, not so great. You need help in your inviting. Next, I want you to look at the number of prospects attending the appointment section. This is an important stat to track. Here's why. Let's say you invite 100 people and 90 of them say yes, they're going to come to the meeting. And at the end of the week, you see none of them showed up. What is that telling you? That you need to get help inviting and confirming your invitations. You can't enroll anyone if they don't show up to your meeting so they can see the business. So you have to improve on inviting and get people to say yes and show up. Step 12. This step is crucial in earning an income in network marketing. After most presentations, there's a need for a second meeting before the person enrolls or buys your products. This is why the daily activity tracker tracks how many second meetings you book on a weekly basis. Look at the number of second meetings scheduled and number of second meetings held box. You need to know how many follow-ups or second meetings you've scheduled and how many people actually show up to your second meetings. You've heard it said before, the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's the natural progression of the sale. And a lot of salespeople forget about this. Learn to live by this model. The purpose of a meeting is to book another meeting. Let me give you an example. If you invite a person to a meeting and they show up, but they don't join on the spot, you need to book a second meeting to immediately get them more information. If they need to speak to their spouse or they need to talk to someone, book a second meeting so you can show that information to their spouse or show it to the other person. If they do join the day you show it to them, book the second meeting so you can get them started correctly. Just remember this, never leave a meeting without booking another meeting. Step 13. Finally, you have reached the section of tracking the number of new customers or distributors that you signed up. This is the results of all the activity that you've created. If you don't do the activity, you can't expect the results. If you don't plant any seeds, water the ground, and tend the ground, you can't expect any fruit to grow. If you don't make deposits in your bank account, you can't expect there to be any money there when you go to the ATM to withdraw some. The message is clear. When you track your activity, your results increase. If you don't, they won't. The great thing about it is that it's all up to you. You're in control of your success or your lack of success. Not the industry, not the economy, not your upline, not your company. It's not your customers or anybody else. You are 100% in control of what you do. No more excuses. The daily activity tracker is what we call the excuse-itis cure. Now I'm going to show you how to train your team using the daily activity tracker. Step 14. This is how we recommend you train your team using the daily activity tracker. Number 1. Expectation is the key to success. Expect them to use the tracker on a daily basis. Make the daily activity tracker the foundation of your training. If you have some people on your team who isn't willing to use the system that can virtually ensure their success, this is where you may want to question why. Why wouldn't someone want to do something that can hold them accountable for their actions? That's the reason. Most people don't want to be accountable. The only reason we found over the years is that they're really not working and they don't want to be found out. This is exactly why you as a leader make the daily activity tracker the foundation of your training and not an option to use on your team. Now, of course, as an independent business owner, you can't force anybody to do anything, but you can strongly recommend it and make it the foundation on your team. You can also base all your contests, your personal performance contests, your special awards, your bonuses, and even special recognition for the people that are using it. This will help your team start using the system when they start seeing people who are winning and succeeding, they are using the system. Use the daily activity tracker as a tool, not a weapon. The daily activity tracker is designed for you to use to help your team grow and become better. It's not used to, show them where they're weak or to beat them over the head with it. That's not what it's designed for. If you see someone is trying and putting in real effort, but they're just not getting the results they want, use the daily activity tracker to train them where they need improvement. Pull them aside. Give them assistance they need. They're going to appreciate it, and they'll be very loyal to you on your team. Now, once you've established the daily activity tracker as the foundation of your team, if you have people who just flat out won't use it, and they're not getting the results, now you have a reason to, help them conform to using the tool, to really encourage it, to show them the benefits of it again. Or maybe you just need to go work with the people that will learn and that will grow and want to learn their business correctly. But now you can have a clear conscience because you've done everything you can to help that person succeed. This is why distributors and companies nationwide are changing the way they motivate their sales teams and implementing the daily activity tracker to increase productivity and their sales. Because they've learned when you track your activity, your results increase. I hope this training has been helpful for you in understanding the benefits of what this powerful tool you have in your hands can do for you. Use it, get your team to use it, and go make it a great week.